The Chicago Bulls fall to the Indiana Pacers last night, 113 to 110. We're going to be talking about the key takeaways from last night's loss. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to slam dunk on that subscribe button, just like Modest Bazelis slam dunks in games. And so in exchange for slamming on that subscribe button, I'm going to give you nothing but daily content around the Chicago Bulls. And so make sure that you hit that like, you hit that subscribe, and you join the Chicago Bulls Insider family as we talk nothing but Chicago Bulls basketball. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it as we're talking about the key takeaways from last night's loss against the Indiana Pacers. And so I always like to start with just really what describes what we saw in this game. And so I just have one point. This was a shocking loss for the Chicago Bulls because they were up on the Indiana Pacers throughout this game. I give the Indiana Pacers a lot of credit for staying close, but it just really seemed like the Chicago Bulls had control of this game. They got up by as many as 14 points in the fourth quarter, only to blow that lead. And so it's just so many things that were going right for the Chicago Bulls that would suggest that they were going to win the game. Early on, they started off with an 18-0 point advantage in the paint. Also, too, they had held Pascal Siakam to under 30 points in this game. And so Pascal Siakam, I believe, was averaging 30 points against the Chicago Bulls. And so he was having a tough night. And then when you look at just the flow of the game, it just seemed like the Chicago Bulls were really starting to get the stuff that they wanted to. They got some players going, whether it was Modest or it was Vooch, which we'll talk about that in a moment. So just things seemed like that they were trending in the right direction for the Chicago Bulls, but they find a way to just really blow this 14-point lead in the fourth quarter. The Pacers went on an 18-4 run in that fourth quarter. Pascal Siakam, I believe, had 13 points in that fourth quarter, so he really woke up as well. And so just really a tough finish to this game for the Chicago Bulls. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and talk about the starters and the bench. And so we'll be looking at each player. And so starting with the starters, and so we'll go with Josh Giddey here. And so Josh Giddey, welcome back to the starting lineup here. So he had 10 points, a -1 in the plus-minus box score. Did have 3 turnovers. He had 7 assists, 4 rebounds. He was 4-4 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from downtown, and 3 of 8 from the field in 29 minutes. And so still on a minutes restriction there. I believe they're wanting to keep him right around 28, 29 minutes. And so they did go ahead and take him out of the game, but he did start in this game, got off to a little bit of a good start. I think his first bucket was just a follow-up tip there. And I like the fact that he was getting the assist and everything else, just wasn't able to get to the boards like he usually does. But good to see him back in the starting lineup. Next for Coby White. And so Coby White, look, he is set to, I believe, play back-to-backs. We'll see what happens here if he's going to play against the Miami Heat. But in this game, I thought that he made some tough step back shots. So he did one in the fourth quarter. He also had a nice one, I believe, in the third quarter as well. And so 14 points, a -9 in the plus-minus box score. He had 4 assists in this game, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 1 of 5 from deep, and 5 of 15 from the field in 32 minutes. I think that with Coby White, I think with him, it just seemed like, at times he was just trying to go a little bit too much with the one-on-one. And I think that kind of got to him, especially when it came to the turnovers and things like that. Next, with Vooch. And so with Vooch got off to a very good start. I believe that Vooch actually started off 3 of 3. And he also was pretty solid as far as knocking down the 3 ball. And it looked like that Vooch was going to win the Chicago Bulls another game by knocking down a critical 3-point shot, but it was not the case for the Bulls. And so I like the fact that Vooch did take advantage of his size advantage. I thought that was good to see. There were some lapses here for Vooch, especially when he gave up just a free lane to Jay Huff for an incredible dunk as well. And so there were some defensive lapses collectively for the Chicago Bulls, especially in the fourth quarter. But that is one that I certainly remember with Vooch. The next, Modest Bazelis. Look, Modest Bazelis had quite the game. 20 points, a -8 in the plus-minus box score. He had 8 rebounds, and he also had 1 turnover, 1 block. He was 4 of 6 from downtown, 7 of 11 from the field in 32 minutes. And so with Modest Bazelis, I thought that he got off to an incredible start. His first play was a tip dunk, and it just seemed like that he was in the flow. And you could just tell that, look, man, it looked like he was just in the summer league out there because he was handling the ball with confidence and everything else. And so it's, again, shocking that the Bulls would lose this game because this was one of Modest Bazelis' best games. I believe this is one of his best career starts as far as like in a quarter with the points scored, because he had 13 to start off in the first frame there. He was 3 of 3 from deep to start off. Like everything was clicking there for Modest Buzelis, but again, the Bulls just not able to come up with the win. But good to see Modest Buzelis continuing to still grow. Next up, Isaac Okoro. And so with Isaac Okoro knocked down a 3-point shot in this game, I liked it off the ball movement. I thought that he played some solid defense as well. I love how he was able to draw a foul against Pascal Siakam, an offensive foul, driving to the basket. And so that is what you love from him, with that defensive savvy that he brings to this team. And so 5 points, a +7 in the plus-minus box score, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 3 from deep in 23 minutes. Next, looking at the bench here. And so with the bench, look, I think that the first player that plays well off the bench for us is going to be Jalen Smith. And so you see Jalen Smith, again, a double-double. And so 13 points in this game, a -3 in the plus-minus box score, 1 steal, 3 assists, 10 rebounds. He was 0 of 1 from the free throw line, 3 of 4 from downtown, and 5 of 9 from the field in 28 minutes. And so with Jalen Smith, I believe this is his 9th straight game in double digits as far as scoring. And so he continues to have a terrific season. And he didn't even start, but I like the fact that he came out there and he approached the game as if he was a starter. And so that is something that Stacey King had mentioned there throughout the broadcast, if you got a chance to check it out. And so he was talking about, look, Jalen Smith has to approach the game as if he's a starter. And I thought that he did a great job of doing that. He continues to show confidence shooting the 3 ball. I like the fact that his activity level is high. He's out there chasing down rebounds and everything else. And so love the effort that we're seeing from Jalen Smith. And again, I continue to say this, it's incredible to think that he was not getting minutes last season. And so next, Patrick Williams. So Patrick Williams struggled from the field, 0 of 2 in 17 minutes. He was a +2 in this game. He had 3 rebounds. Dalen Terry did get in there for 3 minutes. He was a +1. I do know that he lost out on a 50-50 ball that we were hoping that he would get in that game. Julian Phillips, a +2 in his 2 minutes of action. Kevin Huerter, 2 of 5 in 17 minutes, 0 of 1 from the free throw line, and 4 rebounds, 4 assists, +2 and 4 points in that game. And so I know that, look, he got a nice little and one try after he should have got a foul call. I believe it was either Benedict Mathurin or somebody like that that had fouled him on the break, and it wasn't called, but he got the and one on his next play back there. But still loving the activity with Kevin Huerter. He brings a ton of toughness out there. I know he's going through a little bit of a tough time offensively, but still you like the energy and the effort that you get from Kevin Huerter off the bench. And then next up, Ayo Dosunmu. He was incredible in this game, and this is another reason why this is a disappointing loss, because between him and Modest Buzelis, I thought that these guys really stood out with the way that they took care of just scoring the basketball in this game. And so 19 points, a +3 in the plus-minus box score, 4 assists in this game, 4 rebounds, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 0 of 3 from deep, and 8 of 15 from the field in 29 minutes. And I think that you continue to hear more noise around Ayo Dosunmu and just the fact that he should be in the 6th man of the year consideration. Like, I'm right there. You know, I think that Ayo Dosunmu certainly should be, because he is playing incredible basketball. He is showing you just how good he could be as far as getting downhill. And this is without him hitting 3-point shots. And so remember, he is one of the top in the NBA right now as far as percentages and knocking down the 3 ball. Ayo Dosunmu is having an incredible season, and just loving to watch this here with Ayo Dosunmu. And so, unfortunately, the Bulls were not able to take care of business and get the win. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and jump into the team box score here. And so the first glaring thing that comes off of the team box score is that the Chicago Bulls got out scored on the bench. So 43-32, the Bulls outscored there as far as the bench. And so you know that that is one of the superpowers here for the Chicago Bulls, is the fact that they can score the basketball well off the bench. And so you got to give the Pacers a lot of credit. You know, I felt like that is really what kept them in the game, the fact that they got such good performances from Jay Huff and a couple of other players off the bench. So next, when you look at the field goal percentage, the Bulls shot 48% from the field, 42 of 88. Then you see the Pacers 45%, 38 of 85. And then when it came down to the 3-pointers, 12 of 30 for the Bulls, 40%. You see the Pacers 42%, 15 of 36. Free throws, 78% for the Bulls, 88% for the Pacers. They really took advantage of their free throw attempts, 22 of 25, the Bulls 14 of 18. Then when it came down to the assists, the Pacers 30 to the Chicago Bulls 27. Again, that's actually a pretty good number for the Chicago Bulls with those 27 assists. As far as the steals, 7-3. The Pacers were absolutely locked in. They took advantage of their steals, which you can see here that paid off in the turnover battle because the Bulls lead in the turnovers 11-6, 8 points off of those turnovers, 3-3 in the block shots. And then when you look at the fast breaks, 11-9, the Bulls lead there, 52-40, Bulls lead in the paint. And one of the biggest things here, which is disappointing, the Bulls, the largest lead, 14, the Pacers, largest lead, 3. And so a tough and a shocking loss here as the Chicago Bulls fall to the Indiana Pacers. We'll be talking more as we will be talking about the Chicago Bulls taking on the Miami Heat. And so you guys let me know in the comments what your key takeaways were from the Chicago Bulls lapse there at the end, falling to the Indiana Pacers yet again this season, 113-110. Love to hear what your thoughts are. We'll be talking more Chicago Bulls basketball. And as we always say, look, go Bulls. And I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.